Wow 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 boom dun 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 boom 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 dun 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 dun.
Hello, welcome to the show. As always, guys, I'm Elwirfy, and today we're going to be taking a look at some more Warhammer 40k things. To start off with, I've been doing some paint refurbishing, and if you guys know anything about what my Marines used to look like, this is kind of a new and improved version of them. So you can see I painted. Ooh, try and get the camera in focus. I painted vents. The vents on the Marine black. I revitalized the shoulder colors, those black lines. I put for his mohawk, I actually painted it black to give it a bit more detail. Again, I know it's not coming through the clearest here. Allow me to stand it and try and keep it straight. Oop, it's going to be on the ground here. That's fine. But it should kind of stabilize. As you can see, even painted some more details. Oop. Maybe we want to focus a bit. Here, maybe turn the light on. Kind of make it adjust a bit. Yeah, here we go. Now I got a good visual. So I painted the vents on the back, and I also painted the joints black as well. Went ahead and refurbished the shoulder pads. Obviously, I named him. This is me. We gave his gun a refurbishing. Block the light, please. Thank you. And also, we painted the mohawk. So that's where we are for the tactical Marines. Looking pretty good, I'd say. We also have really revitalized the Death Company here. Now, I did a lot of work to try and make sure that this guy was looking top notch. As you can see, I've painted a lot more red on him. Made his shoulder pad red, all his insignia, and especially like on the back. We've also added a little bit of red there. Revitalized the chainsword a bit. Overall, and also we put the red mohawk on the top. So pretty good looking. Now I'm not quite done with Lamarty's here, but as you can see, it's still a good improvement over what I used to have, because we have the red markings all being painted up now, looking quite good. Obviously repainted the wings and painted his backpack red, so everything should be pretty good actually for this guy. I just need to do a little bit more painting on his right side, or his left side I should say. But overall, I'd say it looks pretty good. Oop, is it going to focus? Is it a bit too close? Hold on. I'm trying to block the lighting here so that way it focuses in. Okay, so it might not be focusing right now. And also for the Dreadnought, also we've done some revitalization of him as well. As you can see, looking pretty darn swell. Even painted his face red and stuff, gave him a red skull, and just did some minor details, made sure that everything looked shiny and kind of new. And yeah, so that's where we're at with the models. Now I'm going to move the camera, because today we're actually not going to be talking much about we're not really here to talk about the models too much. And yes, we have the Predator. Predator's untouched. It's been not much change, but it still has its mobile gun. It can come off and stuff. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I need to get another. I think I need another Las Predator, to be honest. But that's a time for another day, obviously. You guys have already seen the list builds. Again, I don't know the next, if ever, I'm going to be able to film here at where I'm currently am, because I'm moving. But while I am here, I figure I may as well show off what I've really been working on, the main project, now that you've seen everything I have, which is terrain. A lot of people don't really talk about terrain, or at least the ones who do, they make it seem really hard and expensive. But this is, I guess, that might be the title of this video, the poor man's guide to terrain. And it's really simple. If you've ever ordered anything ever, cardboard. It's fantastic. It's great. It looks not the best quality, I'm not gonna lie, but you can models aren't heavy, so you can put a miniature there. It'll hold weight, and Heck, you could even fit your tanks in it. And there's all different kinds of designs you can make. You know, this is just one. You know, there's not a lot of sliding on cardboard, so things don't have to be perfect. As you can see, you know, from the outside, you can see that they can look over the ledge. You know, you give them a cover save. There's just a lot of options you have, and I want to kind of go over them. So this is the standard kind of GW looking style of terrain that you're currently looking at, but there are other options. And with terrain, especially when you're using cardboard as your like standard, you can actually get pretty darn creative. For example, one of the first creative things I did, because I needed some big line of sight blocking terrain, it's very important, is actually a house kind of building with 2 doors, but then with a wall splitting it down the middle. You know, you don't really see this normally, so you could have, say, you know, your Death Company man over here, and then your Tactical Marine over here. And I know, funny enough, it actually looks much smaller, but it's kind of partly because of the basing, because if you hold up the bases, they're actually the same height. It's just this guy's on a smaller base, so it makes him look smaller, even though he's not. So this way you could have 2 separate people, and you know, in 2 separate rooms. So you could have, you know, one opponent, you know, on this side, you know, and then another team on this side, kind of shooting through the walls, kind of. And I think that it looks pretty cool, you know, this concept, because you know, they get to fight and murder each other, to do some building to building combat. And I will also be showing off what it looks like when everything's all set up as well. This is just me showing off the terrain that I've made. And it took a long time, I'm not going to lie about it. When you're going through making it, you'll be very patient with your glue. Again, boom, a nice line of sight blocking terrain. Could probably put an objective in here. It's kind of what I'm thinking, be a good objective room. I made enough space so that way, again, a tank could drive in. You want to have spaces for tanks and vehicles to be able to be in, so that way they can try and get cover saves by being in line of sight blocking terrain, because you can't only protect the infantry, but like this terrain piece is big enough as we turn it, so that way you could have, you know, a tank in here, and, you know, perhaps here, let me get a few more, like, and perhaps have more tactical squad guys, you know, like have people kind of holding out on the building, you know, maybe even like looking out, just, you know, all kinds of options, you know, that you can get done with making your own terrain. So this is one that I'm really particularly proud of, and I'm going to be going through all my terrain just to show it off, because eventually we're going to play games with it, because I can't always go to a GW store to play. That's the other thing, and I don't have the money right now to purchase those big terrain kits, which is a little bit sad, but, you know, that's how things go. Oh, one that I really like, one of my first designs for just infantry cover, is, check it out, this nice little trench here, with these little cardboard sticking up to make it look like there's wood here. So, or here, yeah, I'll show it off with these guys. So, you know, you could have guys all kind of lined up. You know, no issue on that. You know, kind of defending this trench. Even the bigger base guys will fit. Obviously, you have to make sure there's room for the bigger based guys. So, you know, if we were to fit, say, roughly 10, I'd argue, is what you want. Now, it's not always going to be pretty, but obviously you can rotate these guys about 4. You can get a fair amount in here. I'm just checking right now. I actually never checked the capacity of this one. Those little wooden spoke things might technically cause a bit of an issue, but for the most part, I mean, at the very least, we can fit 8 in here. But I'd argue we can get 10 if we really wanted to squeeze a little. Got to kind of make some fair adjustments, but I think we could do it. Kind of make some room. Sorry, the video is kind of going all silent for a second. I just kind of want to see if we can actually get it 10, because if not, I might need to go in and edit the terrain a bit so it's a little bit more user-friendly. I'll admit this is a bit of a pain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And obviously, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh, that is 10. Oh, great. Whew. You can have a little more space here. Don't need to be quite so cramped. But you get the idea. You can get 10 guys in here, all ready to go, even on the bigger bases. Obviously, this one's kind of more designed for the smaller base ones because I have a lot of tactical Marines. And a lot of people still use the old bases. So I'll just clear these out. Or actually, we just shove this aside. We might need more models. I also made, it's also good to make some terrain that's just open with, kind of light cover. Again, kind of more meant for your vehicles. Heck, this one's big enough for a vehicle. And you could have your a dreadnought also in there, as well as having, tactical Marines and some jump infantry all kind of together. So you can get kind of your full range here. Heck, you can even have the HQ kind of, get a full model display in this particular one. Let's get these guys out here. And I think it looks really nice because, for dirt cheap, I just some scissors and Elmer's glue, literally. You're able to make really, really kind of unique terrain, even though it's not painted yet. Obviously, I would want to try and paint it. I wouldn't just leave it as cardboard necessarily for actually playing. But in terms of the raw facts of what it is, I think it's pretty acceptable. And it's light, and it's not going anywhere. It's very secure. Here's another one I made. This is another GW style based one. This one technically it's strong. It's not like the glue's weak. It can hold a dreadnought up on the higher level. You wouldn't do that. Obviously, you'd keep it down here. And it's important to make sure you have enough space to tuck things underneath. I even measure it, as I say. You want to measure and make sure that your tanks can fit underneath the terrain, so that way they can be wholly within cover. Heck, you could even do this thing where the tank might be looking out. So I think that it's kind of cool. Yeah. So that's just another one of the GW ones. So let's see here. There's also smaller terrain as well. Sometimes terrain is just there to kind of stop tanks from going through, but allows infantry to kind of take position. Which there's nothing wrong with that. So you might have some smaller troops in there. Certainly the bigger ones could be in there, but you're not going to hold very many models in that. This is kind of my first attempt at a trench. This trench element is not quite as good. But hey, not every single model needs to be in terrain. I believe now, I mean, I could be wrong, but I believe only the models. Oop, there goes my keyboard. Only the models that are actually in terrain will get the cover save. Could be wrong about that though. You just even if you or you're getting tired of trying to cut and maneuver, hell, just take 2 straight pieces. Great line of sight blocking terrain. You can hide a model back there, maybe for your HQ or something. Or if you don't like that, boom, it's a barricade. So these guys are a bit too short to see over it. So they can use it as line of sight blocking terrain, which is kind of cool. But then of course your bigger death company guys, they can it's actually a pretty good line of sight blocking terrain actually. It's pretty good. I mean, if you tip it the other way, it won't be flat, but you have options with your terrain. Although I like to use it as just a pillar, just to block more line of sight. Also because I had leftover cardboard. That's where that one came from. And not everyone has to be big. Like here's a little cover one, so you could just have a little bit of cover. And again, not a ton of models are going to be on it, obviously, but you could try and squeeze with these smaller, older models, because these are older. They're from Assault on Black Reach, but you could technically fit 5 dudes in there, and then boom, you have some cover. And you could even put guys on the bigger one as well, because it's 2 sides to this. So it just kind of adds a nice bit of flavor to it. Being able to have guys kind of fortified and run around. Again, not everyone needs to be in the cover. I mean, you could have guys on and off. Only these guys get cover saves. I mean, I believe that's how that works anyway. So you could put like your stronger units in here, and then you could have your weaker units in the back or something. Or actually, you could have your strong units not in cover, and then have the weaker units who are going to take the hits first, who are in cover. So that'd be kind of cool. Just some thoughts I'm having. Although obviously I'm not too sure. It's been a little while since I played. So my rules knowledge might not be perfect. But yeah, just something simple. You just take some cardboard, cut it down, and glue it. And you can even make, I even made another one. There's smaller ones where maybe the sponson type tanks won't. I guess he technically fits. Wow, that's a really tight fit. But just trying to provide cover for vehicles as well is really important. Your rhinos, for example, might be a little bit better for this because see how they fit. It fits fully in the terrain. So this guy doesn't spin. He's locked in there. This is the first vehicle I ever made, and I lost some treads, so it's kind of sad. But looks really good in my opinion. Just to have terrain to play, and then what I want to do, and I'll leave you guys looking at some models, is actually I want to build the terrain because I'm sure looking at the cardboard, on its own isn't going to be all that enjoyable because it's like, well, yeah, it looks nice, but I bet on the battlefield it probably won't be as fun. So if you give me a moment, and I'm not cutting it just because I figure I want to actually go ahead and while I'm setting this up, go ahead and keep talking about what my plans are for the future of the hobby because personally I really like I love Warhammer a lot, and I don't get to make videos on it as much as I'd like to. So it is important to note that I do have some more kits I need to build. I have another tactical squad of Marines, and I also have a what are they called? Intercessors. I have a Primaris Intercessor squad as well that I need to work on. So it is kind of important to note that there are kind of some more model sets on the way. So my whole army is about 2,700 and I believe like 63 points, maybe 68 points, with all upgrades, WYSIWYG as you see them. So that is something good to note. Now I'm going to go ahead and show it off. It's going to be a little rough. Hold on. I'm going to kind of show off the board as I have it. And check it out. On the battlefield, it doesn't look, in my opinion, too horrifying. Let's see. We're going to move papers around, make sure the board is fairly visible. But yeah, I think this doesn't look too horrible actually. Once you put it on the table, maybe you have, your tanks here. You might have, your dreadnought kind of sneaking around. You have the HQ, maybe perhaps leading some death company through the trench. Yeah, and then on the far flank, perhaps you have another Rhino that's kind of pushing through that terrain. Who might be, and Marines obviously could be scattered around, looking to clear some buildings out. And I think that once you have kind of some people in the terrain, and you really do your best to kind of play it up as like, ooh, like an abandoned city or something. I think it actually does look pretty good on the tabletop once you're actually get it down. And I personally, even though it's not painted yet, I think it's acceptable looking terrain. Obviously people are going to disagree with me. They'll say, oh, this is kind of cheap. You should just suck it up and pay for good terrain. But it's expensive, guys. Like if you look at GW's workshop, like $160 I believe for one piece of terrain, which is absurd. When I made all this terrain for free. But that's my own personal thoughts. And that about does it for the terrain section. Hope you guys kind of enjoyed that. You probably are going to see a game with this terrain. We'll probably make more terrain too. I mean, this definitely is not enough terrain. Maybe I'll add in, go get rocks and stuff and rubble and just try and do things. And obviously paint all this stuff. I have to paint it, so it's going to be a process. But I'll paint it. And once it's painted, in my opinion, it should look fairly good. Yeah, and also having terrain now, I can actually practice some strategies that I want to use and implement. Obviously, this table, it's a card table, it's a bit too small. That's why I need more terrain. That's why it looks fuller than it really is. I'm gonna need to make more stuff. Probably make a bigger trench, to be honest. And hey, stick trench pieces together or something. And just having general rubble and cover and good, again, like I said, good tall line of sight blocking terrain is really going to be helpful, in my opinion. Yeah. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, guys, I'm Elwirfy, and I will definitely be seeing you guys next time.